Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. So,
I didn't get a message that the thing is on.
oh yeah, okay. Oh, you know what? I
There
did
it is.
call it.
Okay, just came in.
So I wanted to give our guests a chance to speak a little something. We're very fortunate we have visitors, and it's always nice if when devotees come that we're able to get a chance to hear something. Is that other microphone on?
The older ones?
No, there were two of these.
Yeah, do you need both ones?
So you can give to beginning with David Prasprabhu. Just speak something. Meanwhile, I better call into the conference. David Prasprabhu first.
Are these new microphones?
Yeah. David Prasprabhu first. Or message is not unless you want to speak something.
No.
He's our resident. We're going to the guest.
Usually when I speak, then the most important person who I want to know comes in after I've finished.
I'm a disciple of Tamal Krishna Goswami, and so I had the good fortune of meeting Narayan once, and this is my first in Narayan Maharaj temple.
Oh.
I met him 20 years ago, and here I am. I'm a Dallas devotee, ISKCON devotee, and I was serving my spiritual master in Vrindavan in 1989, when he was. I was serving Tamal Krishna Goswami in Vrindavan in 1989 when he was very fired up, meeting with Narayan Maharaj every night, preparing for his Brahma Samhita course. And I could see how enlivened he was with that association. And I also got to be close to him, and he was very disappointed actually that things went the way they went and he wasn't able to maintain or complete that relationship with Narayan Maharaj. So that's something that he told me in person. I guess I should mention, and in any case, he invited me to Houston one time when Narayan Maharaj was there, and it was quite powerful. It was very nice. I wasn't in a very good place, but it was very nice to get that association. He really lifted me up. And so,
We'll get started in a minute.
I'm very attached to Srila Prabhupada, our Prabhupada. I'd like to read his books. So, I'm glad to be here.
So you said you're a disciple of Tamal Krishna? I live in, we had many adventures.
Actually, I had a very nice experience with Pujapata Tamal Krishna Maharaj. A couple, but one stands out. I was preaching in Africa for many years, and when I came back, I know why. That makes sense. I might cut this thing off. Okay, Haribo, yeah. When we came back, we were staying in Washington, D.C. because I'd worked with Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj for many, many years, maybe 20 years from the time he took sannyas, through all the preaching in Africa and everything. And we had a preaching center in Washington, D.C. And at the time that there was some difficulties going on, so to speak, Pujapad Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Shripad Giriraj Maharaj, they came through. And at that time, also I was associating with Gurudev. So Giriraj Maharaj and Tamal Krishna Maharaj presented me with a book they had written, compiled, of all the quotes of Srila Prabhupada about association and everything. So I was like very happy to receive it because I was pretty much, with the exception of a couple of godbrother friends, pretty much alone there, because once everything happened, it was a little difficult. So that really kind of saved me because I had so much regard for him and Giriraj Maharaj because they were such stout devotees of Prabhupada. So when they gave me that, I felt really encouraged, because it was a really difficult time, at the time. Because I'd worked with Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj for more than 20-something years, and still, still staying right next door and still serving and helping there and everything, So that was really important for me. Mahaprabhu? Okay, but we have
Stand up and say something about Krishna consciousness. Whatever you know about Krishna consciousness, stand up and say.
Well, I'd just like to say how I
Krishna consciousness, it was through the mercy of my brother, Nitai Chaitanya Das. He left his body in 2015. Yes. So I was taking care of our other brother for the past few years, so I haven't been around as much, but I'm starting to come around more now.
Oh, really nice. Yeah, I remember Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yeah, but he did so much service. In fact, he'd given me a whole truckload of books
Oh,
to hold on to.
yeah.
I remember that particularly.
Yeah, he was
Very fired up. He served out to his last,
Yes.
very important. So now you're reaping benefit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah? Prabhuji, to say something?
Haribol, here between travels, I come to this temple to receive Srimati Shamarani's mercy. I'm serving Krishna consciousness for over 10 years, and I just, really take to her mission and distribute her art and her books, and working with the Santi and all the team, and I'm just really excited for Guatemala before we have a big kirtan retreat to be able to hear it and serve with the last days of Kartik.
Jai, very well, very good. These are all, this is Vrindavan for all of us, and this is Govinda Kund. So many people reside here in Govinda Kund. I live near Radhakund Sham Kund, which is not far from here. Our own Loi Bazaar is right there on 441, and so forth like that. So everybody, that's how we consider Alachua. Raman Reddy, ISKCON Temple Raman Reddy is there, so everything here is Braj. Unless you go to Gainesville, it's Mathura. It's in Mathura. So, yesterday was the beginning of Bhishma Panchak, and we had a Sunday program to celebrate.
Recording has started.
There's also a phone conference that goes on across the country, so we kind of keep the phone for that. But we started discussing yesterday 3 things. One thing was the Avirbhav of Srila Bhakti Taitav Madhav Goswami Maharaj, who is a very stalwart disciple of Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur. And we also discussed the Tirobhav, means the disappearance day, of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, who, as everyone knows, was the spiritual master of Jagat Guru Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur. So, besides that, it was also the beginning of Bhishma Panchaka. So we begin to discuss that in the significance. These last 5 days of Kartik Mas are called Bhishma Panchaka. So, this very special thing I was explaining yesterday is because it is very much related to Bhismadev. And I was making the correlation between Braj Bhakti and Bhismadev, because this is something that's not very well known. Normally we think of Bhismadev in context of the Mahabharata, and we think of the great warrior Bhismadev, and we also think of Bhismadev as actually fighting on the opposite side from Krishna. So there are many considerations about Bhismadev, but also according to Sastra, Swayambhu Nara Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manu Pralado Janako Bhishma. So Bhishma is also one of 12 Mahajans. So we also have regard that in the realm of Dharma, Bhishma is considered Mahajan. Mahajan means, Maha literally means great, Jan means person. Among the great persons who are authorities, Bhishma is counted among them. And then, what is it? Bali Vyasi Kivayam. So Yamaraj is speaking, and he's saying, these 11 persons and myself, Bali Maharaj, Shukdev Goswami, and the other ones I mentioned, Brahma, Narada, and Shiva, right? And then the 4 Kumaras, right? Kapila Dev and Manu. And then those 3 kings especially, Prahlad was a king actually, because eventually he took over the kingdom of his father. Janak Maharaj, the father of Sita Devi, and Bhishma, right? All great warriors, but great authorities on spiritual life. So what was the connection, especially between Bhismadev and Braj Bhakti? So we have to look very, very deeply. Our Srila Prabhupada wanted that when we would study Sastra, we would come equipped with the book, sufficient lighting to see the book. If you needed to wear any spectacle, you put on your spectacles, and then you take the shovel from your pocket and put it on the table next to you. So the shovel is for digging, digging very deeply. Because Bhakti Sastra is a very, very deep thing. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad has written more than 400,000 verses. If Shri Vyasadeva has already written 18,000 verses, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the mool grunt of our Sampradaya, right? Srimad Bhagavatam is the mool grunt of our Sampradaya. We consider it's the natural commentary on all the Vedanta. So this is like the mool sastra. Mool means root sastra of our entire Sampradaya. What need to write anything else? Why so many commentaries? I have one book at home. It's called A Symphony of Commentaries. Commentary of Srila Sridhar Swami, Adi Sridhar Swami, right? Bhavarta Deepika. Then all the commentaries of the major acharyas. Then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sarta Darsini Tika. Then Jiva Goswami, Laghu Toshini Teacher. Sanatana Goswami, Brihat Toshini Tika. So Sanjan Toshini Tika. So many commentaries, so many verses, and Jiva Goswami synthesized, wrote 400,000 more verses, including compiling Sat-sandarbhas, means 6 sandarbhas, right? So if Srimad Bhagavatam is enough, why so much information? Because the Sastra is unlimited. Tulya Bhagavata Krishna Vibhu Savasraya. Prati Shloke Prati Akshare Nana Artakai. So this is one verse saying that Srimad Bhagavatam is itself equivalent to Krishna. Krishna is unlimited. Similarly, the Srimad Bhagavatam, Tulya means equal to, is also unlimited. So he says, Tulya Bhagavata Krishna Vibhu Savasraya, Prati Shloke. Every verse has unlimited meanings. Then Vyasadeva thought, wait. Not every verse. Prati Akshare. Akshara means one letter. So in each verse it's composed of so many Sanskrit letters. He said every letter has Nana Artakai. Nana means various, Arta means meanings. Kai. Oh, it speaks so many unlimited meanings. So we have to approach Sastra with that kind of understanding. There's unlimited meanings. But if you just take unlimited meanings, you can become lost. And Mahaprabhu has warned against this, right? It's mentioned there. Nayamatma pravachanena labdya na medasana na bahushrutena. So if you simply become very erudite at reciting so many things, right? You use your intelligence, right, to understand so many things. Bahushrutena means you read so many scriptures, so many commentaries. This is not a good thing. They should all be studied deeply, but with the aim and objective. So what is the aim and objective of this Gaudiya line coming especially from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? This is what we have to ascertain. Once we have an idea, a goal, then you can dig very deeply. Just like if you want to go to a particular destination, like I've traveled sometimes with either my wife or with my friends, my other devotee friends, and we go for traveling preaching. So oftentimes we come to Dallas. Me and my wife have come through Dallas and other places. It is the longest part of every trip to get across Texas. That's the longest part of every trip. But you can now know where you're going. Like our father's preaching point on the last trip was to Seattle. And we're driving. So we know we can put in the miles. We can gauge how many miles you want to do today based on knowing where we're going. If there is no objective, if there's no goal, if there's no place in mind, then we're driving so many miles, but it's aimless. So in the same way, if you study Sastra, even though it's so deep, it's so unlimited, but you don't have a fixed goal in studying Sastra, it'll become just lost. You'll be lost. Even Jiva Goswami, if you read Sat-sandarbhas, if you don't understand what you're looking for, you'll be there reading all kinds of things and be mass confused. Even Srimad Bhagavatam. Just think, Srimad Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses. Normally, our procedure was to do one verse every day, right? That's the class mode. We got Bhagavatam class, one verse a day. How long will it take you to read Bhagavatam?
Long time.
You'll read what, once in a life? Completely? Huh?
Who
Who can do the math right quick in the head?
48.
Huh?
48 years.
Twice. Yep, twice.
More than 6.
Yeah. So, and if you have no perspective, then what? So we need that perspective. So what is the perspective? Right? When Vyasadeva first compiled Srimad Bhagavatam, not Bhagavatam, when he first compiled and divided all the Vedic Sastras, right? Everything was there. Right? If you look in Padma Purana, Vishnu Puran, you'll even see narrations about Krishna and Radhika. right? But there was no perspective, right? Therefore, when Narada Muni came to Sampras ashram, this is the ashram of Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva please said, tell me, what is my deficiency? What have I done wrong? This is yeoman's work. I'm actually empowered by Bhagavan for this purpose. Still, I'm feeling some inadequacy. I'm feeling something is wrong. And because you can enter the hearts of all jivas, you can tell me what it is that I'm deficient in. Why am I feeling like this? Then Narada Muni told, because you have failed to glorify properly the wonderful qualities of Sri Krishna. So then I thought, well, how could that be? Because you read Padma Puran, so many glorifications. Bhavishya Puran, Vishnu Puran, so many you find all kinds of glorifications of Krishna. But what didn't you find? Huh? Not only Gopi Bhatt, what it means to serve Krishna. You understand? What is clear path of service to Krishna or bhakti yog, that you could not find. You could find all the information, but you could not find how to serve, how to obtain this bhakti towards Krishna. So Vyasadeva, that's why the very second shloka of the book says Dhamma Prochita Kaitavotra, right? That I'm kicking out, pra in Sanskrit, one prefix is, pra means prakrishtarupe. It means to completely, ujita means to take out or raise up. To completely take out or raise up anything that doesn't have to do with pure bhakti is the purpose of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It makes it different from everything else written. With everything else, you can get karma, you can get gyan, but not in Srimad Bhagavatam. The purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam was exclusively for devotion to Krishna. Then Vyasadeva realized, because he received instruction from Narada Muni, how will I realize what is bhakti to Krishna? What are the gradations of bhakti to Krishna? What is the topmost bhakti to Krishna? How will I realize it? You will have to do manasik bhakti. Manasik bhakti means bhakti deep within yourself, right? This kind of bhakti is called Raganuga bhakti. You understand? Because you cannot realize Braj without Raganuga bhakti, yet Braj is the highest type of mood of bhakti towards Krishna. That's how we know Vyasadeva performed Raganuga bhakti, besides the verse says so. What is it? Bhakti yogena manasi samyak pratihile amale apashat purusham puranam mayayam upasritam. So in this verse it says that he did manasik bhakti. What manasik bhakti? He did deep lila smaran on all the different pastimes of all the incarnations, and in his samadhi he realized the pinnacle of all pastimes to be Shri Krishna Lila. That's why he wrote in a krum. A krum means a progression. So he wrote delineating all the different incarnations and culminating in Krishna Lila. Then in the 11th canto, how do you get bhakti for Krishna? He describes how there's different bad circumstances that will take place. He describes predictions for this age, all of that. The very last thing he describes, Nama Sankirtana Yasa Sarva Papa Pranasanam. So this verse he says, look, I've told everything up to the highest kind of bhakti. Radha Dasyam. This is the highest type of bhakti. Plus I've told you how to do it from the very beginning, from Varnashram Dharma all the way up to Raganuga, Lila Smar, and everything I've told. But Kali Yuga is going to be very, very difficult. And the sages at Namaskritanyan were realizing that. So well, you have to speak how people are going to do this in Kali Yuga. Mandasumandamatiyo, Mandabhagihu, Badrita. They have so many different bad qualities. How will they Kirtanayasa, Sarva Papa Pranasanam. Again, this pra word is there, Prakashrupe. Nasana means to destroy. To completely destroy all sins and anarthas which block you from obtaining this high bhakti can be accomplished by what? Sankirtan. Nam Namakari. Proper Nam Sankirtan. Right? And Sankirtan doesn't mean just congregational chanting. Also, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or hearing Harikatha is also Sankirtan. Doing jap is also a kirtan. Right? If you're doing japa with meditation and everything else. Right? So, if you do Sankirtan, right, then all of the obstacles you have towards obtaining this type of bhakti described in Bhagavatam will be removed and you can obtain this very high goal. So, Kalaya Doshinidhera Janastiko Homad Guna Kirtanareva Krishna Mukta Sangabhrama. One great thing about the Kali Yuga, it is called Danya Kali Yuga. Why? because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in this Kali Yuga. And because he came in this Kali Yuga, all kinds of jivas, despite their qualification or disqualification, would have an opportunity to get sadhu sangha and obtain this highest type of bhakti. So the highest thing is available in the lowest period of spiritual climate. This is like the worst weather season. If you took the 4 ages, Kali Yuga is like the worst season. But the highest thing has become available in this Kali Yuga, not every Kali Yuga. So you don't want to miss the boat and wait around till the next one, because not going to be the same. In this Kali Yuga, Mahaprabhu has come, so it's called Danya Kali. In this Danya Kali, Mahaprabhu's special dispensation, that you can get the highest type of bhakti, right, with the minimum purchase. Harinam, lolium means greed. Sadhu Sangha, actually. Sadhu Sangha doesn't just mean we all meet together and you find out if anybody has a spiritual name, that's Sadhu Sangha. Not really the meaning. It is association, but not really necessarily Sadhu Sangha. Jiva Goswami described what is Sadhu Sangha. Samyak Rupain Anugamana. So Samyak means complete, means by your body, your mind, your words, your moods. Samyak Rupain, completely giving. Anugamana, the following with follow completely to a sadhu. Who's a sadhu? Sadnoti sadayati cha Krishna prem itti sadhu. That person who has understood Sat Vastu. Sat means eternal truth. Vastu means substance. The person who's understood the ultimate reality or Vastu to be Krishna prem and has realized it himself or herself, that person is a sadhu. To give yourself completely to the service by body, mind, words, moods, everything, to that kind of person is called doing sadhu sangha. Okay? So under the guidance of that kind of sadhu sangha, with a clear goal in mind, we can do swadhyay. Swadhyay means sastric study. And then with a vision of a goal, we can begin to look at the sastra. So now our original point, for Bhisma Panchaka, we were discussing the relevance of Bhisma Pitamaha to these last 5 days of Kartik Mas or Urja Brat. Urja Mas means the month of Shrimati Radhika. Right? So how is Bhismadev related to this? When Bhismadev was leaving this world, after the battle of Kurukshetra, he spent 58 days laying among the great massacre that was there at Kurukshetra. Right? I think I took notes. What was the count that was there? This is described in the Sri Parva of Mahabharata. It describes when Yudhisthira came back to give a report on what had happened and the casualties. He came back and he told Dhritarashtra, 20,000 men perished in this war. Numbers. 1 billion, 660 million, 20,000. This is in the Sri Parva of Mahabharata. This is Yudhisthira Maharaj's report to Dhritarashtra after the battle. The power given to him by his father Shantanu, that he could leave his body whenever he wanted to. He was waiting for the Uttarayan. Uttarayan means the sun going towards the north. This is the best time to leave the body. He was waiting for that period to come. So he had sealed up the wounds of his body, right, to stop all of his blood from draining out. And by breathing alone, he was laying on a bed of arrows with his head drooped down this way. At that time, Yudhisthira Maharaj, having seen the effects of this battle, was heart-stricken. And he wanted to somehow find a way to make amends. What can I do? So many people have passed away in this great battle. Now we should understand, if you read the very first part of Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna's chariot is drawn in between the two armies, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Pad says, when Krishna looked over all the armies on the other side, what did he do?
He took the life.
He took their lives. Simply looking at him, he took their lives. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur said, what he took was the Parabdha Karma. This was the commentary of Vishnu Chakravarti. Parabdha Karma means your present body. So the present karmic situation of all of those, and for those who were either Devatas or anything else, he took away the Leela that they were performing so they could go back to their respective places. Same he'll do with the Vishnu dynasty at Prabhas during the Mosala Leela, his own family. They're mostly demigods, everything. So in the Mosala Leela, they all give up their Leela here, go back to their posts as demigods, etc., etc. Right? So Yudhisthira went out among this huge massacre, feeling completely devastated at what had happened. Bhismadev had been laying there for 53 days. He's been 58 days in total, 53 he was laying there. When they came across him, everybody had heard that Bhismadev was there, but he was about to give up his life. Because just that time they were calculating the sun is going to start heading north. So many thousands of people came along with Yudhisthira in order to hear Bhismadev's instructions on what should happen next. So when Yudhisthira Maharaj arrived there and they saw the condition of Bhismadev, first of all, the Pandavas, whose hearts were so close to Bhismadev, completely broke. And they were melted in affection looking at the condition of Bhismadev. But Bhismadev was telling, you should not have any worry for me. I have complete control over my life. And all of those who have passed away here, they passed away not by your arrangement. They passed away by the arrangement. Krishna himself. Then Bhishma was saying two things. I am thirsty and my head, I cannot speak because my head is like this. So it's very difficult for him to speak. So that time he asked for a way to raise his head and he asked for some drinking water. So immediately his head. And he said, no. Why will I accept all these material comforts at the time I'm giving up this body? I don't want to remember palaces and kings and all these. I don't remember these things. Any bona fide Kshatriya here will know what is needed at this time. So who stepped forward? Arjuna. And Arjuna first took 3 arrows and excellently made a pillow for his head. Then he shot one more arrow. The water went in. That arrow was a messenger. Where was that message to? Ganga Devi, who was the father of Bhismadev. Understand? And Ganga Devi herself then came up as a stream and entered the mouth to cure the thirst of Bhishma Pitamaha. Now Bhismadev was ready to speak. So Yudhisthira Maharaj, he could hardly get his questions out because he was so broken. So again, Bhishma Pitamaha began to console him. So he told him not only has everything already been arranged by Krishna himself, but that very Krishna is non-different from Lord Narayan, the supreme control of everything. But you, Pandavas, are so fortunate, you cannot always think that he's Narayan because he's working with you and living with you and sleeping with you and eating with you just like an intimate friend. So how fortunate are you that that very Narayan has now come and he's associating with you just like an ordinary friend. He even acts as your messenger. He acted as the chariot driver for your brother. What is the great fortune of your family? You cannot be sad at this time. So when Yudhisthira became a little more composed, the sages who were present on his behalf asked, now the population may be in difficulty because we need bona fide leadership and we need to know what should be done. At that point, Bhismadev took advantage and he spoke about 4 or 5 verses on Rajniti. Rajniti means instructions about being a king. What you should do, what you should not do, how to manage the kingdom, how to console everybody, how to do everything. After that, realizing that there was so little time left, he wanted to spend the balance of that time absorbed in the real purpose of leaving this world. What is the real thing one should do when he's leaving this world? He should absorb his mind and everything else in whom?
Krishna.
So Krishna was right there before him. So then he took advantage to begin to completely meditate on Krishna. So I'll start to read the verses here and begin to give some explanations here. Vishuddhaya dharanaya haita subhas tad ikshayvasu gata yudha sramaha nivritta savindriya vritti vibrahmas tushtaeva janyam visrijan janadanam. So he tells him, by pure meditation, looking at Lord Sri Krishna, he at once was freed from all material inauspiciousness and was relieved of all bodily pains caused by the arrow's wounds. So two things here. One, is Bhishma a Nitya Siddha or not?
Yes.
Yes, because Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur said even the Vasu, because there's a whole backstory, I'm not telling the whole backstory, but there's one Vasu, right, who's named Prabhas in a previous life. They tried to steal the Kamandenu of Vashishtamuni. I'm giving in brief. So these 8 Vasus were cursed. Because Prabhas was the leader in that attempt to steal, he was cursed to stay on earth longer. Because you know the story, Mara Santanu marries Ganga Devi. She says, look, I'll marry you, but don't ask me any questions about what I do. Of course, they have 7 children, and one after another, she drowns them. On the 8th child, he says, wait a minute, what's going on here? Says, well, now I can tell you what's going on, but now I'm not going to be with you anymore. So then she tells him, these 8 children were cursed, right, by Vashishtamrishi, in order for this to happen. Now they've all gone back to their abodes, but Prabhas, who was the leader of the ring in stealing the Kamandenu, him and his wife, he had to right? So now, any question? Somebody have a question? So now, if Bhishma Pitamaha is a Nitya Siddha Pure devotee, how is he suffering any pain here? And if he was already laying there for 53 days, right? What is the question that he was suffering any pain? So why is the Sastra stating that he was suffering pain and simply by looking at Krishna all this pain was removed?
Separation.
Yes.
Impending separation.
Yes. What pain was there? The desire, in order to have the association of Krishna, is the greatest kind of pain. He had control over his body and his mind. Right? If so, when they brought silk pillows to comfort you, oh yes, please help me. Right? If we cut my finger, yes, wrap it up. I'm a hypochondriac to the max. So if something happens to me, I go to my wife, and I remember once, I don't know what was going on, because he spent his entire life, he never was in Braj. He didn't live in Dwarka. Only he was hearing about Krishna's activities. At Kurukshetra during the solar eclipse, he was also there. He had the association of Krishna there. When Krishna would come to give a message, right, to Duryodhana and them before the war, he got to have association then. So only from time to time he would see Krishna, right? At the Battle of Kurukshetra, when Krishna pulled the 2 chariots between the 2 armies, and he spoke Bhagavad Gita, oh, Bhismadev drank that Bhagavad Gita like nectar. I'm going to explain that shortly. But he became completely absorbed. And now he was completely satisfied. There was no more pain of this type of separation. All the beautiful facts about Krishna. He prayed transcendently to the control of all living beings while he was quitting his body. Shri Bhishma Vacha Ittimatara Upakalpita Vitsrina Bhagavati Satvata Pungave Vibhumani Swasukam Upakate Kwachit Vihartum Prakritim Upayusi Yad Bhava Pravaha. Bhishma said, let me now invest all of my thinking, feeling, and willing. These are 3 things that every jiva has naturally as part of their existence in being Satchidananda. He has existence, some cognition, and the tendency for happiness or the potential for happiness. Every jiva, this is our composition. They are Satchidananda. 3 vrittis or functions of being Satchidananda are thinking, feeling, and willing. So now he's saying, let me take those 3 functions which naturally exist in every jiva and completely invest them alone in thinking, feeling, and willing in relation to my Ishtadev. Ishtadev means my worshipable deity. They were so long engaged in other different subjects. So Bhishma Pitamaha, being Nitya Siddha, not always engaged in other subjects. He always was thinking about Krishna. But in the Leela, he was engaged in many things. He was acting as a king, arranging the marriage of his stepbrothers. He had to take a vow, no anymore. I can give everything now, my thinking, feeling, willing, unhindered, towards super meditation, deep meditation on my Ishtadev. Before, I had one complication also. I was living in the house of Duryodhan, in the land and property of Duryodhan. Therefore, I had to accommodate and oblige him in so many ways. This is the nature of politics. But now I'm free from any encumbrances, materially or spiritually, and I can freely invest my everything in my Ishtadev, Lord Shri Krishna. He is always self-satisfied. What is the meaning of Krishna being self-satisfied or Atmaram? I've spoken this thing before. What is Krishna's Atmaramata? It's written in Skanda Purana.
That he and Radharani are one.
Yes. Atmaramas Turarika Tasharamani Evaso Atmaramas Iti Prokta Muni Bhe Guyaveri Bhe. Verse in Skanda Purana clearly says, why is Krishna Atmaramata? Because inside his heart, Shrimati Radhika is always doing Ramana, means giving pleasure. Because Radha and Krishna are one person, they're not two people. Radha Krishna Chai Sada Ek I Sarup, written in Adi Leela Chaitanya Charitamrita. Leela Rasa Ashwadite Dhare Dvirup. They've taken two forms only to taste pastimes. So Krishna's very happiness is called Aladini. Right? His happiness is called Aladini. The personification of that Aladini is Shrimati Radhika. Ladini Sarabhav, Bhav Para Prem, Prem Paramakastana Mahabhav, Mahabhav Swarupini, Sri Radha Takarani. Radha herself is Krishna's happiness. You understand this point? So, he's telling here, yes, he is completely Atmaram, self-satisfied. Bhismadev knows everything. He knows. You'll get to that, you'll see. He knows everything. But sometimes, being the leader of devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure. Even though Krishna is Atmaramata, still, Bhismadev is pointing out, but superior to Atmaramata, Vilas, means playing with his own self. Enjoying his own self is part, of course not. Everybody needs other people. Because this exists in Bhagavan himself. So though Krishna is Atmaramata in his nature, he even manifests two features of his own self in the form of Radha and Krishna to taste happiness in an expanded way. Similarly, with all his devotees, he expands his happiness even more. Just like if Radhika is complete, why do you need other gopis? If Radhika is his complete happiness, what is the need of any other gopis?
Variety is the mother of enjoyment.
Exactly. Bahukanti. Bahukanti. Na vino ulas. Unless there are many kantis means gopis, there can't be ulas. Ulas means like happiness, great happiness. You understand? Plus, by having so many different gopis, then the beauty, quality, exceptional nature of Radhika is exalted. So now by comparison, you can see, oh, so beautiful. You understand? By comparison, oh, so qualified. By comparison, oh, so sweet. You understand? So this way, by having many gopis, then Radhika's glory is even more exalted and Krishna becomes even more happy. Understand? So Bhismadev is recognizing this. Therefore he says, even though he's self-satisfied, he still takes pleasure in having many devotees. And even he descends to this world. 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam clearly mentioned, Anugrahaya Bhaktanam, right? Also Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya Sadhunam. Why does God come to this world? Anyone? Why does God come to this world? Goloka, there's any problem there? Right? They don't have forest fires, hurricanes, like we had Hurricane Irma, everybody had to evacuate. No problems like that. Vaikuntha means no anxiety, no problems. Why does he have to leave there to come here to taste anything?
Service devotees.
Huh?
So service devotees.
Yes. Paritranaya sadhunam. A byproduct is Vishnaya Vinashaya Chaduskritam. Byproduct is demons are killed. But the main thing is Paritranaya, give happiness to the devotees. Similarly, 10th Canto Bhagavatam, Anugrahaya Bhaktanam. I came to show my mercy to my devotees. And the devotees show mercy to everyone else. Therefore, Maha didn't come here to deliver all the conditioned souls. The reason we say that is because when he comes to give love and affection and a special thing to his devotees, those devotees then spill out his affection onto all the other people. This is the nature of a devotee. You understand? Mahaprabhu comes for his devotees. Because the Lord doesn't know what is suffering. This was a very everything. Jiva Goswami's written this. Krishna does not know what is suffering. What any feature of Krishna knows what suffering is an expansion, like Ekadasi Devi. You read the story of Ekadasi? When Krishna went into the hellish planets, right, he heard all the crying and screaming and everything. He couldn't digest what it is. But from his body, one form manifested. That was the form of Ekadasi. So Ekadasi could now grasp what is suffering. And therefore Ekadasi made a shelter. If you will follow no grains and follow Ekadasi Brat, then it frees one from sinful life, etc., etc. Krishna doesn't know what is suffering. He's always absorbed in transcendental happiness. But his devotees know what is suffering. Therefore they're called Paradukka Dukhi. They know what is suffering. Therefore he comes to give them pleasure. They take that pleasure and give it to the world, thereby extinguishing the suffering of the world. The very first thing we sing every morning. Samsara Dhava Navalida Loka Tranaya Karuna Gana Ganatam. Gurudev has come like a cloud. Where did he get the mercy from? From the ocean of mercy. But did the ocean come? Ocean didn't come. The ocean is Radha Krishna themselves, but they didn't come. Who came? Oh, Gurudev came like a cloud. He moved and he gave the water of relief from material suffering. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Mahakavi means great poet. If you study deeply writings Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, very beautiful. Right? So Bhismadev is saying here, oh, the Lord comes to give transcendental pleasure to his devotees, even though he's Atmaram. Tribhuvanaha kamanam tamalabharanam ravikara ghaura varambham dadahani vapura loka kula vritta nhan bhajam vijaya soke ratyastu me anvayadya. Sri Krishna, he's the intimate friend of Arjuna. So he's telling to Arjuna, what can you say, Yudhisthira? This Krishna has become so dear to your brother. Not only how affectionate is he? He didn't take the most senior person even. He didn't say, oh, only to Yudhisthira because you're the elder, so forth. No, even to your younger brother, he's so dear and affectionate. What is the nature of this person who's Bhagavan himself, that he's come to this world and he's showing so much love and affection not only to even a senior person, but even to the most junior person, like Arjuna. He appeared on this earth in his self-same transcendental body. So here Bhismadev now realizes, right, or he's expressing his realization, that the very form he's seeing of Krishna is a Satchidananda Samvit Sandini Ladini Swarup. You understand? Because when Krishna was present 5,000 years ago, different people saw him. Right? Some people saw him according to Maya Drish. Maya Drish means the vision of Maya. So they couldn't understand what is this. Right? But if the Maya Drish is moved, the Maya influence, then people can see the actual transcendental form of Krishna. Like now, are we seeing Krishna or not? Krishna's here or not? Shri Govinda Dev is here. But everybody seeing? Same like 5,000 years ago. Similarly, in Vrindavan Dham. Vrindavan Dham is the same. Nitya Golok Dham descends to this world. But on top of it is called Drishyamana Prakash. It means there's a covering of Maya that doesn't allow ordinary jivas to see it. You can only see dust, dirt, rickshaws, noise, etc. Understand? He says this body is transcendental, and his body attracts everyone in the 3 planetary systems. Right? May his glittering yellow dress and his lotus face covered with paintings of sandalwood be offered object of my attraction, and may I not desire any fruit of activity. So now he's beginning to see Krishna, but not only is he seeing Krishna, but he's seeing Krishna according to the vision of higher class devotees. Because who was the worshipable deity of Bhismadev? Does anybody know? Chatubhuj Narayan. He understood Krishna to be that same Chatubhuj Narayan. He mentioned before, this is my own Ishtadev, right? But he's seeing Krishna, oh, I know this Krishna is that same Chatubhuj Narayan. You understand? But by the mercy of Krishna, having heard Bhagavad Gita on the battle of Kurukshetra, the heart of Bhishma has been transformed. So now he's starting to speak of Krishna in terms of the same way Braj devotees see him, with his pitambar, the beauty of his face attracting the three worlds. What great warrior man can sit on the battlefield, look at another king and say, his face is so beautiful, it attracts the whole three worlds. You understand? Who can say? Only when your heart has been changed. You understand? And you no longer identify with any upari in this world. Upari means designation in this world. Then you can see from the angle of vision of the truth. And who has the true highest vision of what Krishna's beauty is? Brahma described his beauty. Even the Brahmanis, right? When Krishna went to beg, right? The Yagnik Brahmanis, they also wrote something about his beauty. But whose vision do we take of Krishna's beauty to be the highest? Braj Gopis. We take their description to be the highest. Bhismadev is getting some darshan of this thing now. So he begins only by describing Krishna's pitambar. Why is he describing Krishna's pitambar? Because when he forced Krishna to break his promise on the battle of Kurukshetra, and Krishna jumped down from the chariot of Arjuna and picked up a wheel, and he was running, right? Only Arjuna could stop him so he wouldn't break his promise. But Bhismadev got to see the darshan of how his pitambar flew off of his body. Then one remembrance came into Bhismadev's mind. I saw this one time before. When we were at Kurukshetra during the Surya Grahan, means the solar eclipse, at that time, the Brijabasis, they arrived there at Kurukshetra. Jiva Goswami said that they weren't actually invited. They invited kings and royal families, right? But most people in villages, they normally just did what they do. But the Brijabasis heard he was coming there. So they took on their own. We don't need an invitation. He's ours. We don't need an invitation. So they came there before, but when they got to the gate guard said, yeah, who are you? Right? People came, people had turbans on, people had, simple dresses on, everything. Nobody was wearing crowns and diamonds and, right? Who are you people? Oh, we've come here to see our son. Your son? Your son can't possibly be in here. It's a gated community. Your son possibly can't be in here, right? It's all royal families from all over the world. They're here for the Surya Grahan to do puja, everything. Your son is not here. So again, they were repeating and repeating. I said, what is the name of your son? Oh, his name is Nandalal. His name is Kanai. No Kanai here. We've never heard of Kanai, Nandalals. We haven't heard these people. So by that time, the word had gotten by messenger to Krishna and Balaram. They were sitting in the sabha, means the assembly hall. Soon as it came to their attention that Krishna, Balaram had come, they immediately jumped up and made an excuse. Oh, we have to go. And immediately they started running. When they got outside, away from the other kings and so, they started running. They were running so fast. The other kings came out there, what's going on? Maybe some demons going, anything, we don't know. Maybe somebody's attacking. They came out and looked and saw Krishna and Balaram running at full speed. And as they were running, their crowns fell. Their bangles were coming from their arms. And especially Krishna's pitambar, everything, his yellow royal cloth, flew off of his body. When Krishna arrived at the gate, he was completely not having any royal insignia on. But while he was speaking to the Brijabasis, that time his servants who had run behind him, they picked everything up. So when they got there, they immediately came up to him like, Raktak and Patrak and Braj. Every morning, they used to, on the insistence of Rohini Ma and Yashoda, they would dress Krishna. Because they're servants in the house of Nanda Maharaj. They're not Krishna's servants. Krishna has no money. He has no way to take care of them. Right? He can't give them any flour. He himself is stealing butter. He doesn't have anything to give them. Right? So, they're actually servants of Nanda Maharaj. Right? And they're like, in the category of Dasya to Krishna, but like friends more. Right? Because there's no pure Dasya Ras and Braj. So they come and they dress Krishna every morning very sweetly. and all of his suckers they watch. And sometimes the suckers criticize. Ooh, that thing doesn't look so good, right? And then they will change it. And then Manu Mungo will tell, yes, it doesn't look so good on you, but it looks excellent on me. And then he'll take his things and he'll put on his own body. You understand? This is how Krishna is dressed in Braj. But now the royal servants, they ran behind, they picked everything up, and they began to put his royal bangles on. One of those bangles, not like what Krishna used to wear in Braj. He wore bangles made of flowers. Chutta pravala stapak ubbaladya malanu prakritta paridana vichitravesho. Described in Venugit, how Krishna used to be dressed. He would be dressed in lotus flowers, petals from different kinds of flowers. He would wear flower garland, Vayajantima. This is how he was dressed in Braj. But now, one servant came to pick up one of his bracelets, and he had to use 2 hands. Solid gold, diamonds, everything. Putting on Krishna's wrist. So now, the gopis standing at a distance seeing this, they thought, wow, Ai Dina Daya Dranata Maturanata Kalavalukshaye. This is a very famous verse recited by Madhavinda Puripad. That formerly, Ai Dina Dayadranat. Dina Dayadra means a person, Deen means like in a very destitute condition. Dayadra, nothing. Right? To that person, Krishna used to be the Lord in Vrindavan. Because when the gopis or anyone would suffer separation, Krishna would show up and he would be like the Lord and Savior of their condition by giving his association. Right? The gopis, every day Krishna used to go cow grazing. Gopi Geet is described there. Atatite bhavan anikananam tritayugayate tvam apashatam. Tritayugayate means like millennia. Right? 1 second of your being gone when you go out to do gocharan or cow grazing, it's like whole millennia, whole yugas have passed. You understand? So when Krishna would again show up and give them darshan at the end of the day, or any of their rendezvous during the day, oh, their hearts would become so satisfied. So he was Ai. Ai is like an expression of, right? Ai Dina Dayadranat. You are the Lord of those kind of people. But now, we see something different. Matura Nata Karalokshahi. Now we see royal people coming and dressing you like servants, big crowns, diamonds, bracelets, all these things. Right? Bhismadev is remembering this because he was there at Kurukshetra during the solar eclipse and he saw it. Now he's leaving this world and he mentions, oh, he has that yellow glittering cloth on again. The same one that I saw him run to his most beloved Brijabasis and drop, and the same one he dropped when he was running to break his promise in order to satisfy my desire. You understand? Only a couple of more. Yuri Turhagarajo Vidumra Vishwak Kachal Rita Sramabhari Alakritchase Mamo Nishita Sarai Vidyamana Twachi Vilasat Kwache Shri Krishnatma. On the battlefield where Krishna, on the battlefield, where Krishna attended to Arjuna out of friendship, the flowing hair of Krishna turned ashen due to the dust raised by the hoofs of the horses. Who else sees this vision? When? Golduli.
When the cows come off.
Yes. You understand, Bhismadev? He's telling in code, right? Because he's heard Bhagavad Gita. I'm going to get to the crux point here. This is proof of what he heard in Bhagavad Gita. See, if we don't read these things with a shovel, hard to see. He's saying, I saw you on the battlefield also. That time it wasn't cows, but it was the dust raised by all the horses. But when you ran at me, I noticed this fine condition. If somebody's running at you to kill you on the battle, you're taking time to notice the dust in their hair? Hair was dusty and everything? No. You understand? So this was a meditation that entered and made a samskar in the heart of Bhismadev. That when you came at me while you were protecting your friend, in other words, you were showing love. So in the same way, you used to take your cows out and show so much affection to your cows. Everything. And when you would come home in the evening, you'd be covered in gold, braj duli. Duli means dust. It would rise up in the air from all the different cows walking and you'd be covered. And we'd see you coming back like that. Bhismadev saying, I also remember seeing you like that. with your hair flowing. You understand?
That is a verse from Gopi Gita.
Very much like a verse from Gopi Gita. And because of his labor, beads of sweat wetted his face. Right? So when Krishna would come back, same thing. Because Krishna used to have to, not every cow was obedient. Krishna would blow. Krishna has a japamala with 108 beads that keeps track of all the different categories of cows. There's 100 different groups of cows by color, 8 by shape of their face. Right? And to keep track of them, Krishna would play his flute, the particular tune for that group would show up, he'd count. Next, count. There's like japamala of the cows. Right? So sometimes there was always the cow who didn't want to come home. So he takes off running. Krishna has to go chase him, get him back in her. He takes his little stick and gets everybody back. So this way when Krishna came, he was covered in dust and beads of sweat from walking back in Braj. All these decorations, right, intensified by the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows. Now Bhismadev relates his own situation because he has a mixture, right, of Samvatsalya. There's Samvatsalya in Bhismadev because he was older. But also Veera Ras. One Gon Ras, right, is Mukhya Ras means the 5 primary rases. Gon Ras means secondary rases. One secondary ras is Veera Ras. So now he was seeing the darshan of the Veera Ras of himself and Krishna. You also had the wounds which were inflicted by my arrows. Now when you read the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Pad, you know what he compares this to? Huh?
Love fight.
Yes.
Oh, you read it.
It's in Bhagavad.
Wow.
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 That's it. Because you're not, in Kshatriya law, you're not supposed, the Maharata, the generals, are not supposed to attack another chariot driver. It's against the rules of war. So, but Bhishma kept nicking Krishna here, with his arm. That really made Krishna, well, want to kill him. But Krishna felt those as the love bites of the gopis.
And Bhishma's revealing that. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur Pad says that. Right? Sapri Sakyacho Visamya Madhye Nija Prayor Bhalayor Ratam Nivesha Shtitavati Para Shanikyor Akshna Hitavati Parta Sake Rati Mamastu. It's a beautiful verse actually. In obedience to the command of his friend. So first, he acknowledges how Krishna, who's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan himself, can become controlled by devotees. Right? Just like Krishna told. When Durvasa came to Vaikuntha, when Ambarish, he offended Ambarish, he was being chased, pursued by Chanchakra, he went there, he said, hey, let me explain something to you. What is that verse? Ashvatantra eva dvija. Aham bhakta paradino. This verse. Aham bhakta paradino. Ashvatantra na ashvatantra eva dvija. Oh Brahman, you should understand I'm not independent. I am deen means I am under the control of my devotees. So here Bhismadev is saying, not only Krishna has come under the control of these devotees, but he's completely under the control of the Brijabasis also. Completely. You understand? Aham bhakta paradhino. What devotees is he mostly under control? Like with Srimati Radhika, right? Nirantaram vasikrita pratitti nandane kada karishasi hamam kripa katakshava. He is always completely under the control of Srimati Radhika. She is called Vasikrais. Means she has the ability to completely control Krishna. Right? Just like the song. Radha Siromani Vishabhanu Nandini Nilavasane Paridhana Inapurata Jini Panavikasini Bada Kaveri Hari Prana. Kaveri means a braid, right? So she's telling, what is the glory of Srimati Radhika? Radhika's charm and beauty is so much that she has Krishna's life, his pran, tied up in her braid. She's controlling Krishna at will. This is the beauty of how Krishna is controlled. So he says, to Arjuna, you showed the same thing. Because in obedience to his command, you became under his control. For that reason, you entered into the middle between the two armies. Because Arjuna, once he became bewildered, he told Krishna, drive my chariot in between the armies so I can see who's here. I think I'll take this point to introduce the main theme of what we're talking about. Bhismadev had never been to Braj. Bhismadev did not live with Krishna in Dwarka, therefore he never heard the conversations of Uddhav and Krishna talking. There was no place where we read that Krishna ever confided in Bhismadev regarding Braj Gopis, separation from Braj. Nowhere we read that he's done that. Where did Bhismadev, besides what he observed at Kurukshetra, did he assimilate the depth of Braj Bhakti that he could now speak so many coded things describing simultaneously his own experience and the beauty of Braj Bhakti?
I think you gave us a hint. So
We
he
did.
heard Bhagavad Gita.
Because he heard Bhagavad Gita. You understand? So this means Bhagavad Gita is a complete revelation regarding the nature of Krishna's own inner moods of separation towards Braj is also embedded in this Bhagavad Gita. Now first, the argument will come, wait a minute, but the speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Vasudev Krishna. He's like a king, like a Kshatriya. How can you say that he's talking about Braj Bhakti? No. In the Gita Upanishad, Gita Mahatmya, it describes Sava Upanishado Bhavo Dukta Nandana Gopala Parthavatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dukta Gita Amritam Mahat. That the Bhagavad Gita is being spoken by the milkman of Braj. He has taken Arjuna like a calf. Whenever you want to get milk from a cow, you bring the calf there. And when you bring the calf, the natural motherly instinct is to release milk by the mother or the cow. So in the same way, Krishna used Parthavatsa Sudhir Bhokta, oh intelligent men, see how Krishna took Arjuna like a vatsa, like a calf. And what did he do? Dugdha. He made available for all you devotees to drink Gita Amrit, the nectar of this Gita. You understand? So he made the nectar of his own heart available by using Arjuna. So actually on the battle of Kurukshetra, it is not Arjuna who becomes bewildered. That's why when you read all the commentaries of the charge, they say the so-called bewilderment of Arjuna. We've interpreted that to mean, well, Arjuna's a pure devotee, so he couldn't fall into ignorance. But the deeper meaning here is that Arjuna's bewilderment is his own vicarious heart connection with Krishna, and Krishna's bewilderment having come back to the place, the same place he met the Brijabasis earlier. When they met at Kurukshetra and they had all these wonderful dealings, right? For 2 months, Krishna had again Ras Leela in a private place, all these things. Now, the gopis wanted Krishna to return to Braj with him, but he couldn't do it, right? So now again, their separation has grown to greater and greater heights. So is Krishna's. Now, they're getting ready to fight this big battle. They come back to that. Whatever. Does that bring that memory up or not? Okay, let's be real. We're trying to be devotees. There's no question. Everything. Krishna will come back to the place where he met Brijabasis last. He's suffering in great separation day after day in Dwarka. Now this big battle is about to take place. He won't even fight in the battle because of this reason. Because when the Brijabasis saw him at Kurukshetra and saw him dressed like a royal prince, right? He thought, oh, they're leaving with the impression that I'm like a warrior, like I'm a king. I purposely arranged to come in a dynasty where I couldn't even be a king. You know the curse of Maharaja Yati, everything? There could be no kings. Krishna could not be king. That's why he made Ugrasen the king after he killed Kamsa. Because in his dynasty, according to what happened with the sons of Yayati, was it? Puru and so forth, so on, right? You cursed it, they would never be kings. Right? Yayati cursed one of his sons, no kings will come in your dynasty. That's the dynasty Krishna came in. So Krishna made, I tried to arrange this, I'd never have to be a king. Still all these intrigues unfolded. Here I'm in Dwarka, and here I am like a leader king of Dwarka. I didn't want this. The only reason we made Dwarka was to save the Brijabasis anyway. Because when Jarasan would attack with all these armies, Mathura and Vrindavan are so close that Jarasan's army may spill over. They may come to know my affection for Brijabasis and take advantage of it. Therefore, in the middle of the night, Krishna did a deep meditation, and at the same time, the Brijabasis were having a yajna because they heard about the attack of Jarasan. They were doing a fire yajna, and in the fire yajna they said, may Krishna be protected by a great moat, like an ocean. Swaha, May Krishna build a magnificent city where no one can touch him. Swaha. And Krishna was receiving that in his heart. Therefore, out of his Icha Shakti, out of his own will, he manifested Dwarka. So all the Mathuravasis went to sleep one night, and they woke up the next day in Dwarka. They went to sleep in Mathura. They heard, that's like the Jamuna, right? Because you can hear the bubbling of Jamuna. Next day they woke up, they heard, like waves crashing. So they thought, well, Jamuna is gotten way out of hand, right? They woke up, they looked out, they saw the ocean there, right? That's why the place is called Dwarka. I went to Dwarka. So the Pujaris there will tell you the name Dwarka means Dwara Kaha. Kaha means where, from where. And Dwara means door. Where was the doorway to this place? How did this place come about? You understand? So Krishna was in that place suffering deeply from Vrijabasis. Now he's come back to this very Kurukshetra where he last met them. He won't feel anything. He won't have any emotion will come to his heart. He'll only be concerned about this stupid war. That's why Bhismadev said when he pulled his army out in the middle, he took and he looked over everybody. And when he looked over everybody, what did he do? War was over. Because Krishna took already the lives out. That's why he told Arjuna, if you want to, you can be an instrument in this. It's already happened. I did this right in the very beginning. That's why Bhismadev told him in the beginning, this was all Krishna's plan. This was already done. You have no fault in this. So that was the end of the battle of Kurukshetra right there. When Krishna pulled his army, the chariot in between the two, he looked at everybody. All right, it's a wrap. Right? He could have told Arjuna, okay, put your arrows away. All you guys, don't even wait for the time. Just sit down in your chariots and wait for death to come. It's on its way. You understand? But in order to have the Leela, right, they did all these things. Right? But already, he had already taken all the lives of the warriors there. So what really was going on? Krishna then took advantage. Arjuna, you are so much a dear close friend to me. Even though you're not like Uddhav. You may not understand everything deeply like Uddhav. And you've never been to Braj. But many times before, me and you used to talk about the gopis. Do you know that Krishna used to talk about the gopis to Arjuna? Many times. What is the proof? Al Srila Prabhupada wrote the proof. When Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was proving the superiority of the love of Radhika, right? He was writing in the 4th chapter of Adi Leela. What does he quote as proof? Let's listen to it. O Arjuna, there is no greater receptacles of deep love for me than the gopis, who cleanse and decorate their bodies because they consider them mine. This is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writing in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He's quoting from the Adi Puran. You understand? Then he goes on. Oh, because you are my very dear friend, I'm speaking to you, my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. So he's told Arjuna Bhagavad Gita, I'm telling you this because you're so close to me as a friend. We used to talk about the gopis before. So now, look, there's thousands and thousands of people here. Millions, actually, billions, according to the numbers, right? I cannot directly speak to you about what I'm feeling. But because your heart is so close to me, I'm going to speak in a code, and by my mercy, you'll be able to understand it. So what does he do then? He said, okay, the battle's over. I already took the lives of all these soldiers, but let me tell you what's going on with me. Right? Let's take this little bit of time. Let me tell you what's going on with me. Right? I am suffering some deep moods of depression from the Vrijabasis. I'm feeling deep separation. Right? I cannot say that overtly, so I'll tell you in all these different codes. So first I'll tell you, all these different verses of Bhagavad Gita, you start looking at them in a different way, they're all coded for how Krishna is suffering separation from the Vrijabasis. Then at a certain point, Krishna can't control himself. So he says, look, all of this stuff we're doing is a waste of time. We're here, we're fighting, we think we're Kshatriyas, we're doing all of this. Sava dhamma parityaja mam ekam saranam braja. Oh, just give up all of these things and let's all go to Braj. You understand? He can't control himself anymore. You understand? So in the 18th chapter, 66th verse, he just outright tells it, look, forget all of this. Don't worry, but then what, you think some sin may come? Oh, mokshishami, masucha, don't worry, I'll protect you from the sin of that. Right? And Krishna can say anything, right? He tells everybody anything. Yeah, don't worry about it. We could do this. I'll be back in 1 or 2 days. That's what he told the gopis. I'll be back in 1 or 2 days. Right? That's why the gopis said, what is that verse? Tavakatamritam tata jivanam kavibiriditam kalmasapaham. Poets, kavis, this is their nature also. That's why they're comparing Krishna to a kavi. Right? All the poets, and you yourself sometimes say things, it may or may not be true, but it sounds good. Right? Poets, that's what they do. Right? So Krishna's saying the same thing. Arjuna, don't worry about any of this stuff. I just got to tell you about dharma, sin, it's your duty. But forget all of that. Let's just forget all this stuff and let's go back to Braj. You understand? Then he tells him, O Partha, the planetary systems on this earth are especially fortunate. For on this earth, the town of Vrindavan, and there the gopis are especially glorious because among them is my Radharani. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 4:216. This is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami speaking this. So Krishna and Arjuna have talked before about the intimacy with the gopis and with Srimati Radhika. So it is no surprise that he's taken advantage to do it now on the battle of Kurukshetra. And according to the Adhikar of those who are listening, they can understand something. Duryodhan, what did he understand? What's going on over here? What the heck is going on? We've gathered here. Everybody's ready to go. We blew the conch shells already. That's like, when the wrestling arena comes on and the guy says, all right, fight, right? All of a sudden, wait a minute, hold up. Then you come into the middle of the ring and you start talking to your friend. Yeah, she broke my heart, so forth, so on. You understand? So now saying that Krishna and Arjuna have pulled out in the middle, all of a sudden billions of soldiers are there from all over the world. And Krishna is giving this coded catharsis to Arjuna about his separation from Vrindavan. But people like Bhismadev, he understood. And now that he's giving up his life, he's explaining what he understood. All right, I'm going to go to the last verse here. Because this is the verse that encapsulates everything. And we're getting close on time. Lalita Gati Vilasa Falguhas. Lalita Gati Vilas. Does anybody know what Lalita Gati Vilas is? Lalit means playful, charming, sweet. All Sanskrit dictionary, all these definitions given. Gati means here not goal. Gati means like movement, like dancing. Lalita Gati Vilas. What is the Lalit Gati Vilas for Krishna? Ras. Commonly dancing and so forth. So he said, smiling. And not only you were smiling, pranaya nirikshana. Pranaya means love. But here pranaya, because in love there's different gradations. Praying, shneha, pranaya man, or man pranaya, sometimes depending on the circumstance they go in different orders, right? But pranaya means when the lover and beloved have become so close and all barriers are removed, this is called pranaya. So pranaya nirikshana. You were in such close proximity to someone while you were doing this Lalita Gati Vilas that you could look at them eye to eye. Nirikshana means looking at them eye to eye. So looking upon someone while you're doing Lalita Gati Vilas in pranay. You understand it or not? Say yes or no.
Yeah.
It's clear? No?
No.
When Krishna was dancing Ras Lila, he danced so fast, Vishnu Thakur said, he appeared between each gopi. And he put his arm around each gopi and was looking at them in their eyes. Bhismadev subtly is speaking the same kata. Lalita Gati means, and the way where I got this from is in the purport, and Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur mentions, he's talking about the rasa dance. Right? So he says, in the rasa dance, Krishna was doing Lalita Gati. Means he was dancing. That's what Lalita Gati is. Vilas means a pastime. So in the pastime of the Rasa Lila, Falguhasa, Krishna was smiling. He was very happy. And the gopis similarly were doing pranay nirikshana. Means they were close enough in pranay that they were looking Krishna face to face. Right? So now Bhismadev says, how did this come to me? Kalpita urumanaha. Kalpana means imagination in Sanskrit. Kalpita, if you look in the dictionary, also means imagination. But you could not imagine this because Ras Lila is beyond our imagination. Moreover, Bhismadev is Mahajana. He won't use imagination. So he says, how did I get it? It came into my mind, Urumanaha, by the high glorification you were giving. Urumanaha, the literal translation here is highly glorified. So that highly glorified Rasa Lila and the mood of this. Where did Bhismadev hear this from? Openly speaking it. Yes, in the Rasa dance, when you were looking face to face with the gopis and you became very happy, and they were in their great love looking at you also. Oh, how did this come to me? When you were speaking, when it came into my mind, the proof that it was not imagination was that I had a vision. What was the vision? When you left the Rasa dance. So he has meeting and separation in this verse. When you left the Rasa dance, what happened? The gopis in their deep separation, Krittamanu, Krittavatya, Unmadaha. Unmad means one level of transcendental love is called Unmad. Dibya Unmad. When you become like mad due to separation or mad due to praying. So he's saying, in that madness, the gopis started imitating the qualities and activities of Krishna. Krittamanu, Krittavatya. Right? So Shamarani Didi, I have an original painting that Shamarani Didi did. She mercifully allowed us to keep it, where the gopis are imitating the Krishna. You ever seen? This happened during their search for Krishna, when he disappeared from the Ras dance, right? So he sees this. This is proof. It's not Kalpana, his imagination. It's a darshan that he received by understanding and realizing the glorification that was being given in Bhagavad Gita by Krishna. He understood it. It came in his heart. And he saw this thing. What else did he see? Prakriti Makankila, Yasha Gopa Vadvaha. He saw that all the gopis, Gopi Vadvaha means the cowherd damsels, right? That's direct translation. Yasha means them, right? Prakriti Makankila. Their natures completely changed. He saw them go through the different transformations of Saspit Bhavs, of Sanchari Bhavs. He saw that with his own inner vision. This is the darshan given to Bhismadev before he gives up this world. You understand? After that, because once you see that, you're done. Right? Just like in the Guru Astakam prayers, when you get to Nikunja Yuno Rati Keli Siddhai, my Gurudev, you see his Manjari form. After that, Sakshad Hari Dvena Samas, then you come back down to earth. You understand? This is the highest vision. Now coming back down to earth. Sakshad Hari Dvena Samas Shastriya. All the Sastras glorify Guru. He's so great, right? Similarly, and Shukadev Goswami used to do this. That's why the Bhagavatam, even Krishna's Leela, is out of sequence. Like he describes Dhenukasura Leela after describing one Leela that's actually after it. But he describes it, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says because he was in such ecstasy, he would hit a certain point in order to keep himself going, he would change the subject so he could balance himself, then he would go back again. Like he's talking about some high class of Ras Leela, then he says, and Nanda Maharaj was then attacked by a snake. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gave insight. Yes, because Sukadeva Goswami, his bhav would go so high that if he kept going, because he had this mood, that even while he did not mention the name of Radhika, right? Radha Nama Prachanena Sanmasiko Bhavet. Muchita Sanmasiko Bhavet. If he had mentioned the name of Radhika, he might faint. That's how high class of love he has, right? So he would change the mood. So similarly here, Bhismadev now has come back down. He says, at the Rajasuya Yajna, right? This is an actual thing that happened down here, right? Because he's seen his vision of Braj, everything. Now he's coming back. At the Rajasuya Yajna, what you did there was great. Because in the assembly of all of these kings, you took time to honor Sri Krishna as the most perfect among all these people. Lord Krishna was worshipped by you as the personality of Godhead. And he says, this happened in my direct presence. I remember this incident in order to keep my mind upon the Lord. After this, the famous verse, now I've reached the pinnacle of my realizations. So now I can meditate in full concentration upon that one Lord, Sri Krishna, who's now present before me. Because now I have transcended the misconceptions of duality in regards to his presence in everyone's heart. Even the hearts of the mental speculators. He is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one. So now he's come all the way back to Tattva Siddhanta and everything.
Is that the Riddhi verse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Riddhi Dishtitam Atma Kalpitanam.
Yeah. The Mayavadis run with that. All duality is gone. So
Oh, deep meaning is here though. Riddhi Dishtitam. He's there within the heart of everyone. Kalpitanam means those who even have imagination, like Mayavadis and so forth, so on. Speculators. Then I'm looking for the final verse. Then Bhismadev became absorbed completely in samadhi, right? Merged all of his actions, right? And then the very last thing, which they recite for Srila Prabhupada. Then Bhismadev gave up his body, all the demigods honored him, etc., etc. And last thing, because they recited this verse for Srila Prabhupada, that's why I like to recite it as the last thing. Anyways, I didn't find it. But then it says, that person who spoke upon many subjects, in this way many times, etc. I can't remember the verse by heart, but it's a very beautiful verse describing he finally had given up everything and it completely entered into samadhi. Like this. So, Shri Bhisma Panchaka ki jai, Shri Bhismadev Mahajana ki jai, Shri Braj Bhakti in Bhagavad Gita and everything, ki jai.
Someday we have to read the Bhagavad Gita in this verse by verse in this regard.
Yeah, we have to.
Today there was, but our godbrother Loka Guru looked up the actual timeline in sequence. Yesterday began Bhishma Panchaka.
Bhisma Panchaka. 5 days, last 5 days of
Panchaka.
Panchaka.
Panchaka. It begins its 5 days of fasting. Then the Gita Jayanti is the first day of the Battle of Kurukshetra. That this year will be December 18th. That goes for 18 days. That's when Bhishma falls on the bed of arrows. And then 53 days until Makara Sankranti does he come to his samadhi.
Yes.
So that's the order of Bhishma's involvement starting yesterday.
I will have a question.
We were doing Bhagavad Gita readings on Sunday evenings.
Oh.
We just did one yesterday, and I feel was about Lord Krishna's involvement in killing demons, and the question was originally posted by Narayani Devi, who was first in initial stages of Krishna consciousness, was wondering how can God be so cruel to kill all these demons and be so engaged in such as ghastly activity. And then I was saying that, well, he enjoys everything he does. But then there's this other katha that was arising in the conversation from Vishnu that was doing the killing. And that Krishna is actually only engaged in thinking about the Vrindavan.
Yes.
So I was wondering if you could clarify if Krishna is, like his moods from Vrindavan are always prominent and primary, but then he also has these variegated leelas where he's partaking in other activities. So he must, I just feel like he's blissful no matter what he's doing. But it can be said that he can experience even more bliss.
No doubt that full bliss is manifest. Swami, this is the source for this. When Krishna, after Devaki mentioned when Lord Vishnu had appeared in the dungeon, right? Lord Vishnu was there, said, hey, when you were Sutapa and Prishni, you prayed that I would become your son. So here I am, all four arms, this club, Lord, everything, I'm here. How's everything going? I see things are not going good, actually, right? So then, Devaki, by the inspiration coming from the heart of Yashoda, our Acharya said the word Yashoda means, Yasya means fame, Da means to give. Coming from her heart, the mood of Vatsalya praying enters the heart of Devaki. At that time, she says something in that absorption of Vatsalya praying that doesn't make sense. What does she say? You're unafraid of being here, and you have to show you're Bhagavan, right? So, does she think Kamsa was superior to Bhagavan? No. So you would have thought, no, don't become a baby, stay Bhagavan. Because if you're Bhagavan, right, you're going to kill Kamsa, get us out of here, everything is going to be good. But all of a sudden this thought comes out, can you please make yourself a baby and hide from Kamsa? Right? So at that time, Krishna, hearing that call, through a conduit that was made there earlier by the transference of Shankarshan from the womb of Rohini, from the womb of Devaki to Rohini, when she had the miscarriage, a conduit between Braj and Mathura was created. At that time, Krishna, in that conduit, comes to the dungeon of Vasudeva and Devaki. He gives darshan to them as their baby, right? Because now she has the blessings of Mother Yashoda, who's the archetype, the model of parental love. So now, Krishna says, well, what are we going to do with this Vishnu thing here? Okay, look, come on. So he takes Vishnu, and Jiva Goswami says he subsumed the form of Vishnu. I have some uses for you. So when he comes back to Braj, that Vishnu form is called Stapani Akarshani. Stapani Akarshani means he establishes himself there, and when he's not needed, he goes away. Just like you establish a deity when you're doing yajna, then you do the mantra, send the deity away. So that Stapani Akarshani Vishnu entered the body of Rajendra Nandan Krishna. When it came time to kill the demons, two things would go on simultaneously. Krishna would have the experience of the bliss of his own Leela. Like with Trinavarta, Krishna saw birds one day and he wanted to fly. So Krishna used to run really fast and he would try to jump and fly and he would fall. And he would fall in mud and Mother Yashoda would have to clean him off everything. So he would say, Mom, what fault am I doing? That these birds, are they better than me? He used to talk to Mother Yashoda. These birds, are they better than your Lala? Why I cannot do like they're doing? So one day, by his Icha Shakti, he got the chance because Trinavarta came. So when Trinavarta came, he grabbed the hold of the neck of Trinavarta and he was flying. Finally. Right? He was holding on really tight and everything. But then, that Vishnu in him, right, by the arrangement of Yogmaya Shakti, she said, okay, it's time to kill him. Why? Because Trinavarta formerly was also one person who had been cursed by a devotee to come there. I forgot that it's back. You can read in Garga Samhita that tells the backstory on all the demons, right? So it was his due time to be killed, but before that he got to serve Krishna, and this way he was liberated from all of his offenses. So Garga Samhita tells the backstory. Keshi, Bakasura, and Pralambasura are all brothers, right? So those three brothers, they stole lotus flowers from the garden of Parvati Devi. And Parvati Devi told Lord Shiva to curse anybody who takes lotuses from there. They had taken those lotuses to offer flowers to Krishna. But what happened was Parvati was doing a particular vrat. She was going to offer 100,000 lotuses. So Lord Shiva had made just enough lotuses for her to offer her vrat. And when they took some, I don't want to hear it, right? So Lord Shiva was obliged to curse them. But he said, look, because I'm cursing you, I'm also giving you benediction. All three of you will take birth in Braj and you'll be killed successfully by Krishna and Balaram. You understand? So there's a backstory to all the demons killed in Braj. Now, second thing, there's 4 phases of killing demons. One are demons like those, like Putana, who's the daughter, or some people say sister, of Bali Maharaj, right? And when Vamandev came there, she saw him and saw the beauty. I wish I had a baby like that. I would feed him my own breast milk. Then when he bound Bali Maharaj up, she says, oh, I would give him poison. Oh. So then Krishna said, okay, tatastu, so be it. So then that sister of Bali Maharaj took birth as Putana. You understand? So there's backstory to them. Outside of Braj, there's also one class of demons who were not killed in Braj, but they were still killed by Krishna liberated. Jarasandha, Salva, right? Banasur, right? Narakasur, right? That's a whole other class of demons, right? And this is all to satisfy Prithvi Devi, Bhumi Devi. She came and said, look, I'm overburdened. So because of his love for her, he said, yes, I'll take care of it. So he removed all those who were cursed by devotees and benedicted at the same time to be killed. Second, those outside of Braj. Third, the two big armies, right? One the enemy army and one the devotee army, so to speak, just making it easy, right? So in the battle of Kurukshetra, we just read the numbers. He rid the earth of that burden of all of those, and only one burden remained. What was the last burden? His own, yeah. Because if they had stayed there, could you imagine? What are you talking about? I'm in a direct family of Krishna. What are you talking about? Move over. Understand? So to make sure that didn't happen, because demigods could get bewildered like this, he arranged for Mosala Lila. In the Mosala Lila, he arranged that all of them would be able to be the final ridding of the burden of the earth. Baladev said, okay, everything is done. Ananta Sage came from his mouth. He laid down, went back home. I'll meet you when you get back home, Kanai. He went back to Golok Vrindavan, right? And then Krishna, he did not immediately go because he was contemplating something. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, he wrote one verse in code. Yam yam api smaram bhavam tajayate ante kalevaram. Whatever anybody becomes absorbed in, what bhav they have at the time they're leaving this world, what they're doing smaran, that kalevaram they will obtain, right? That body they will obtain. We're taking that as an instruction for us, which is also true, right? Because there's many different levels of Bhagavad Gita. I spoke Samanyan, Guya, Guyata, Guyatam, Sarvaguyatam. So in Sarvaguyatam, Krishna is saying, yes, I'm looking to get a body, a special kind of body. What kind of body? Purva Vraj Vilasa, 18 Avilas. I had 3 desires when I was in Braj. 1, what is the nature of the love of Radhika? 2, how does she experience me? 3, what kind of happiness does she experience? I want that body so I can experience that. So I want the body of Ashraya Jatiya Tattva. A body where I can experience what it's like to love me. But how will I know? If I become the body of experience what it's like to love me, how will I know what that's like? I also want a body where I can witness it myself. Therefore, he arranged himself to take 2 forms at the end. What 2 forms? One, the form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and the other form? Jagannath. So now he's standing there at Jagannath with huge eyes watching himself. This is far out. Understand? So now he's watching him. This is far out. I can't even move. Right? So like this.
So can it be said that Krishna himself is engaged in killing demons?
No. Krishna is only engaged in his Lila Vilas.
He's having
Vishnu is killing the demons.
And he's going, yay, I'm a bird, I can see all just
Yeah.
like the birds. But the Vishnu is pounding on Trinavarta
Yes.
and then he dies.
And that's why Krishna said at the end, he said,
yeah.
what happened? We were having so much fun. I was even thinking you could become one of my friends. I will introduce you to Subal, Shidam, Vasudam, and we all fly everything because I share everything with my friends. And then you just died and your eyes grew. They said look like rascals and everything. Why you became so ugly and fell and everything. You understand?
So when he says that in Bhagavad Gita, he says that he comes here to save devotees and destroy demons.
Not save. Paritranaya sadhuna.
What is?
Paritranaya means to give pleasure, actually.
Give pleasure to devotees and destroy the demons.
Byproduct of destroying the demons. Jiva Goswami in Bhagavad Sandarbha gives maybe Bhagavad Sandarbha, I have to remember. He gives example of how that works. He says in the morning it's very cold in India and the kitchens are outside. So when people go outside, they're going outside to cook. So they go, they start the chula, means the fire and the stove. So they start everything and they start cooking and everything. What happens to the room automatically? It warms up. Did they go out to warm up a room? Or did they go out to cook? So Jiva Goswami gave this very example to show.
Okay.
It's a byproduct of giving pleasure to devotees.
So, but when he says that, okay, so it's not like he's directly doing it.
No.
But, see, I understood through the translation that he says, I'm coming here to do these 2 things. But it's
How he's doing. He is doing it. How he's doing it is the question.
It's indirectly through
Yeah.
Krishna. And
Yeah, byproduct naturally. Lalita?
I just wanted to know how is it that Bhishma even though his Ishtadev is Narayan,
Just-
then how is he able to see Krishna as Krishna? It's kind of like similar like Lord Chaitanya in the Srinivasa pastime where he reveals himself.
Because Bhismadev, he saw that Krishna is that Narayan. He had this understanding. Garga Rishi also had this understanding. There's a whole thing when Garga Rishi goes to Braj to do the naming ceremony. He's conflicted because he knows Krishna's Narayan, he knows he's God, but the Brijvasis, they don't believe that. No. So it's like a whole thing. How will I work this out? What will happen to me when I see Krishna? I know this is my Ishtadev, Lord Narayan, but I can't do that in front of these village people, right? So there are many instances like this. So Bhismadev knows this, but why did he get this darshan becomes a question. Why? His affection to Pandavas. You understand? And what was the mood of Pandavas? They had intimate mood with Krishna, almost like Brijavasis, except they knew he was Bhagavan. So after witnessing and after hearing about the glories of Braj, these Pandavas said, we want to be like that. What do we have to do? Well, look, I tell you, first thing, when everything comes to an end, just make everybody think that you went to heaven or something, right? Because this bhajan is very confidential. So at the end of Mahabharata, it says that one by one, they all went and they obtained swaga. First, they had to do some suffering for all these different kind of things. But that's just an illusion. What did they really do? They went to the banks of Shamakund. They took the form of trees, like Uddhava takes the form of grass. And they're doing deep bhajan at Shamakunda in order to obtain this Braj Bhakti. Mahaprabhu, seeing the depth of their efforts to obtain this Braj Bhakti, says, maybe you will not take birth in Braj, because so much fun we have together in Mathura and Dwarka. But come into my Gaur Leela, and I will give you the intensity of the taste of Braj Bhakti there. Hey, where will we come? You can be the sons of Bhavananda Roy. So the Pandavas come as the sons of Bhavananda Roy, and they taste. Prem Naiva Goparamanam Kamamityagamat Pratam. Uddhava Adayo Pietam Vajanti Bhagavat Priya. All the devotees from different incarnations, they come into Mahaprabhu's Leela and they taste the intensity of Braj Ras, though they don't give up their own swarups. In serving Mahaprabhu in Visesh Dashabhav, Visesh Dashabhav means a special kind of dasya to Mahaprabhu, they taste the intensity. This commentary is given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I sent the commentary to Shamrani Didi. This commentary is in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of this verse. You understand? So they taste the intensity of Braj praying. And Mahaprabhu, to prove that he was keeping his word, Ye Janamatishta Prabhu Apanar, Shei Gauranga Shei Avatar, during the Mahaprakash, when Mahaprabhu was showing all the different forms, he showed them, hey, you worship the Shringadev, I'm the Shringadev. You worship Varaha, I'm Varaha. Right? You understand? So he showed all these things to prove to all these devotees. Murari Gupta, here's your Ramachandra. You understand? So he showed everybody. But they all came and they tasted the intensity of Braj Ras. But in Braj Ras, the most superior pastime, Samyak Sarvasana Krishnera Ras Leela. Your Ras Leela is the most superior pastime. How will we taste that? Oh, I'll arrange. So what is the Ras Mandal of Gaur Leela? The courtyard of Srivas is the Ras Leela, is the Ras Mandal in Gaur Leela. So coming, they taste Kirtan Ras Leela. Yeah?
I want to say one thing to Anigavan Prabhu. I don't know which Bhagavad Gita you're reading from, but it might be good to have both. Because Srila Gurudev's Bhagavad Gita takes Vishnu. So if you
Hey, devotees, I'm very sorry. I apologize. I ran over so much. Anyway, Dandavat. Jaya Sri Krishna. Haribo Bhumi.
No, I was just mentioning, but that Leela in the Srivas Anga is still going on.
Yes.
That's why it's so important to chant pure Nam. When you chant pure Nam, you'll enter into that.
Yep. This is our aspiration. Our aspiration is really not initially for Braj. Our aspiration first, Guru Nishta. Second aspiration, may I take birth in the association of the high-class devotees, like during the time of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur or Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, right? Then, may I take any birth in Gaur Leela. And in Gaur Leela, I'll hear the kirtan in the house of Srivas. And by great fortune, one devotee will grab my hand and take me there to the courtyard of Srivas. And only in a distant place, they'll let me stand and see the kirtan and maybe bring water for those kirtaniyas. And hearing that kirtan of Mahaprabhu, everything is completely purified, right? And hearing that, my own Swarup, via the Sudanam, coming in this Gaur Kirtan, will reveal to me my own Swarup and everything. Understand? And that's why Bhumi says it's important to realize that is here. Because Mahaprabhu's Leela, you saw, if you read Bhakti Ratnakar or anything, you can see how anytime there's pure Kirtan, Mahaprabhu shows up. Even though that's not unusual, right? What is that verse? Naham Tistami Vaikunte, Naham Tistami Vaikuntam, Yoginam Shuva, right? Wherever my devotees are chanting my name, I show up at that place. Alright, it's so late. Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jai Guru Parampara ki Jai Jai Sri Satchidanand Gaura Hari ki Jai Srila Radha Vallabha Sri Sri Radha Govinda Dev ki Jai 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 Sri Radhe Vancha Kalpa Krishna Kripa Shivajusha Patitananda Vivashna Jai Dandavad Se Devotees on the telephone Hari Hari Bol.
Yeah. Anyway, well, Prabhu's still on the line. He's going to do Dr. Raj to come a couple more days.
I'm sorry, Boo, I know I kept late. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you, Babuji, for coming and for staying. I know it kept so late. Other things to do.
Pure nectar, thank you.
Bhisma, it looks like Narayan.
Yeah, he mentions it. Because that time, no, that's it, so he just fall on Narayan. Because he mentions himself, his own worshipable deity of Narayan. He mentions that. But he recognized that Krishna is not different from that Narayan.
And then that's in Bhumi, right?
Huh?
That's in Bhumi.
In this Bhumi Lok.
And then eventually he sees like this and goes to one form.
Yeah, he sees Krishna's two-armed form and gets all this mercy. Right?
And then when he's
It doesn't say what he came in Gaur Leela, does not say. But in this battlefield here, he tasted something.
You know, when he's leaving, Krishna gives him darshan of his, them looking at each other.
Yes, two-armed form. Krishna standing looking at him.
The gopis. He has his darshan.
No. In his verses, he's saying that kalpita, the word kalpana in Sanskrit means imagination. But you cannot say a pure devotee imagine this, right? So kalpita, then he qualifies how it came in his mind. It wasn't imagination, but urumanaha. Kalpita urumanaha. Uru means like greater, right? Urumanaha. If somebody is continuously glorifying something and extolling the glories of it, then it came in my mind. That's how I heard about it. Harikata. But where did he hear it? Because he was never around Krishna and Uddhava when they speak these things. He was not around Krishna and Arjuna speaking these things. So where? At the battle of Kurukshetra. He was able to ascertain when Krishna was speaking. Krishna gave him the like he told Arjuna, I'm giving you divine eyes to see this universal form. Nobody's seen it before. Similarly, he gave Bhismadev, you can hear what is the beauty of what I'm saying. Other than that, he could not have spoken these statements, right? Because they have no relation. He would have just said, thank you, I'm about to leave my body. Thank you very much. I hope I was, I've served well. I'm on my way back to Vaikuntha, boss.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Prabhu, Devras, thank you so much for coming.
So much nectar, thank you very much.
Oh no, you're coming with so much mercy.
No, you're really.
Haribo.
Yeah.
Hey, Adi Govinda Prabhu, we're gone. So, bye.
No, really wonderful.
Oh, no, thank you for coming, Prabhuji.
It's nice. Deep realization.
Mercy of Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev. And it's Lugosi, all the devotees were always talking like this.
Is he coming?
Oh, no, I was just saying to me because we're all going now.
Okay.
Where are you staying?
I can stay Airbnb. So
Oh, okay.
I can actually walk over here.
Oh, did you guys walk or you drove?
No, I drove.
Oh, okay.
But it's so close, like 2-minute drive.
All right. I really wish I had your number or something to stay in touch. Huh? There's one lucky everything is here. And then, John Ryan normally comes down and reads in the morning. John Ryan comes down and reads in the morning. But yeah, please leave your information here because I travel every year. And we come across, I'd love to just stop and visit and maybe go talk to them. I'll give you my number.
Yeah, close the door.
Yeah, just text me and say that's, yeah, there's some traffic to Texas thing, take months together or something. Yeah. It was very good friend of ours here. I see him every time, sometime I come to, Bhagavat. Paul, Black Body devotee. He was from New York originally, but he served me now in separate house. He was for a little while. No, yeah, I knew her for years. He was actually, when I first joined, I was in New York in '75. He was like the Santa Tony. Yeah, no, Bhagavatananda. Okay, yeah, yeah.